Hey guys, Nick here in the shop. I wanted to shoot a video to show you what we do with our 3D printers, and I got a lot of tips and tricks in here, stuff like this right here, and I decided to give you a few free things that I've designed personally that I think you're gonna really like. So make sure to stay to the end of the video and I'll talk about what I have, and the links will be down below as well. We're the family behind the Insty Connect system, so we make internet devices for people to help stay connected out on the road. We have the longest range cellular system in the world, I would think. Anyway, we use these 3D printers to build our antenna enclosures. That's actually what I'm working on today. I wanted to do a video to show you how we use them, what type of printers we have, maybe some little tips and tricks that if you have a printer might help you, right? So we have 7 P1Ps. These are Bamboo Lab P1Ps. And then we have over there, we have 12 of the X1 carbons. We actually have one more that travels with us. It's in our fifth wheel out there that comes with us as we're out on the road, because a lot of times I'll be out somewhere and I get an idea and I'm like, I want to put something together, try to get it even while we're out on the road. We've used many different printers over the years. We started this business back in 2021-ish. And back then, they had, I think the Ender series was kind of the most common, but these are Creality CR6s. We have a bunch of those up there. That was our last kind of line of 3D printers that we were using before we got to the Bamboo Labs. Those were pretty good, right? And I didn't have to touch them as much. Still had to do stuff with the Bowden tubes that would go in there. Since we print mostly PETG, they would like melt and everything. And so I was like, all right, these are cool. These are maintainable. When I heard about these Bamboos, I thought, you know what? I'll give them a try. So I picked one up. I bought both a carbon and a P1P, and I set it up and I sent a print to it, and I was almost like, this isn't gonna work because I didn't do anything, right? And I just sent it, and then it came back a few hours later and it was printed and it was beautiful. And I was like, this is kind of next level. So if you're doing anything with 3D printers, you might already know this, but these are pretty amazing machines, and I know a lot of the other ones are kind of to this level now, but I've never had a printer where you could just, kind of like a paper printer, you just send it and then you forget it. That's kind of what these are like. I mean, we print all kinds of really cool, pretty big, intricate stuff with these, and it's like, it just works so well. So yeah, I really love the X1 carbons. I bought the 6 P1Ps, and to be honest, if I would have done it again, I think I would have just bought another 6 X1 carbons, just because we don't use those quite as much. Just because I like how, I honestly like the touch screen. Just, you know, boop, 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 boom, it's done, right? Those are a little bit different. You have to kind of hit the wheel on it and everything, and it's fine, but it's not nearly as cool, all right? So anyway, I'll give you some more tips on what we do with that in just a little bit here. I want to show you what I'm working on. As I mentioned, we kind of make different things with our business. This is one of the things I've been working on. This is what we call our X mount. This helps us mount the antennas. So like over here, we have, this is one of our vehicle antennas. You see this mount right there? This mount can actually fit in that X mount so that you can stick it, oh, here's one right here. You can stick it down on your roof, or you can put magnetic things in these circles, stick it on your car. As you can see here, this is one of our feet, 3D printed. Also, we've been working on a new antenna. This is one side. So the software that I use, I used to do all my stuff in Blender. Got to kind of know that a little bit, but man, was it hard. It was tough. But it seemed like I wasn't using it to its full potential. When I went to our first show and started like displaying our stuff, had a guy come by and he was like, you know, I'm really into 3D printing too. His name was Dave, and he worked with Flagpole Buddy. And he's like, you know what, I do all kinds of 3D printing for adapters and everything. And I actually have one right here that he made for one of our systems. He makes adapters for his flagpoles. He has a really cool business. And he said, you know what you should do? You should try Fusion 360. And I was like, really? He's like, yeah. So I got it, tried it out, and I was like, man, this is so cool. And so now this is what I use all the time. It's an amazing piece of software that is pretty easy to learn, and I was really surprised to know like how many YouTube videos are out there and how many people work with it and give tips and tricks with it, right? This was what I used to make our one antenna. We call it the squared. That was all kind of contoured and everything. Super cool. We also use it to do stuff like this with the new window antenna. This is what it will look like. But if you notice, we print big stuff here. We, of course, print small stuff too, but I like to print big things like this antenna right here. I think it's about 800 grams. Yeah, 800 grams of plastic. And so if you're using like those small rolls, it would use up almost a whole roll before it was done, right? And so then I'd use half, and then I'd have another half a roll and not have anything to do with it. But we try to use our printers to their max ability. So this is our window antenna. It's gonna suction cup in the window, and it's gonna go right into the modem. If you're trying to get into 3D printing, having a good printer that is gonna give you results right away is pretty important. So I know a lot of people who get into 3D printing will go like to Thingiverse and stuff and download some stuff and print it, which I think is really cool. But like the next level becomes where you can get in and start making your own stuff. Luke, who's my oldest son, I tried to get him into this, and he is not quite there yet. He's using like a software online, and I can't remember what it's like. Can't remember what it is. I'm sorry. Evidently, it's easier than this. So when you're able to go in and actually create something and then take it and then put it into like the Bamboo Lab slicer and everything, and then just hit print and it comes out. I mean, that's really cool. So if you're thinking about getting into 3D printing, definitely try to learn this. But first, get a good printer that's gonna print something really nice like these bamboos. Even the cheaper bamboos like the P1P. Now, there is one even cheaper than that that's like open all around. I haven't had a chance to try that one, but if it's anything like the ones that they sell here, like I have, it's gonna be a phenomenal experience. And then you can get into this, and then before you know it, you're making cool stuff like what I wanted to show you today, that I'm gonna actually give away for you, right? So as you know, we make internet devices, and one of the things that we kind of work with is a Starlink internet. And a lot of people who are in our industry use the Starlink, and they'll use it out camping and everything. And one of the things I didn't like about the Starlink is that you had to kind of find a new spot for it all the time. Now with our system, it doesn't really matter that much because we kind of tie multiple things together. But one of the things that I really wanted to do with the Starlink is actually mount it in a way where I never had to touch it. So I created these, what I call the Gen 3 mounts, because I have multiple Starlinks, and one of them is the Gen 3. Let me show you a little bit about it, why I like it. So what I wanted with this is just to have a very simple corner block that would hold the corner of the satellite dish itself, and then be able to screw it down, or in my case, actually just stick it down. Like I showed you that foot over there where we put the ultra high bond and you stick it down to it. This one here can accept that foot. Then we take this and we put it on the side of the satellite dish, and then we put our screws in it, and it locks it into place so that we could just stick it on a roof. And so let me show you what that actually looks like on our roof. And then the reason why this works so well is because I added a little something on this 3D print that I'll show you. It's kind of a secret, but you know, you can have one of my secrets. Right here, this little lip, you can see it right there. This lip, when you put the upper part on it and you put the screws over here, it makes a kind of clamping force right here. So you put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you clamp it down. That little lip right there is gonna force this to move just a little bit, clamp down on that satellite dish, and then that way it's not moving anywhere. So these are gripped onto each corner of the satellite dish, and then we take our little sticky feet, stick it down on the roof. So it's like the easiest install you could possibly do. Now, of course, you're gonna wanna make sure your roof is all clean and everything before you stick these down there, but it makes it really easy, really cool. I recommend doing PETG because it's very strong and it's very heat resistant. If you do this in PLA, it'll warp and it'll probably pop out. So make sure you do it in PETG, okay? So then you screw the feet on, put the stickers on, attach this to the edge of your satellite dish. Then when you got it all clean and everything, just stick it down. Then pull it all apart if you want to put a screw in it, right? And then put the screw in and then put it all back together. And that is your satellite mount. Of course, you don't need to screw it in. I didn't screw it in on my roof, but you got to make sure you check it every now and then to make sure, number one, your roof membrane isn't coming up and that it's still sticking really, really well. So there you go. If you want that Starlink mount, check in the description below. I should have a link, or I'll pin the first comment that I'll have the files in there. You might have to head over to our website so you can get that. But then once you got that, you should be able to print that out and be good to go. If you don't, have a 3D printer, but yet you want one of these mounts, we sell them at our website along with all the rest of the stuff that we build and sell. You can head over there and grab a set and we can help you with anything as well. Now, a couple tips and tricks that we do that I've kind of learned over the years doing printing, especially with really big prints, is that I love these really giant rolls of filament. This is gray that we like to use. I really like it. We used to use mostly black, but I've moved to gray because it's working really well and it holds up really well to the sunlight, just like black does. But we use these 5 kilogram rolls and they're Texas size spools. So if you go on Google, go to Texas size filament, and that's, I can't remember the place off the top of my head, but that's a place where we've bought filament from, and they have these giant spools. They don't have as many colors, but they do have a lot of PLA, PETG, and with this, we can print big things for a long time. Now, a lot of people will say, Nick, you got a lot of filament out there that is, you know, capturing or collecting water or anything. That's another thing that I learned. We've got to keep this place extra dry. So we have a dehumidifier down there that's hooked up to a pump that basically keeps this place as dry as possible. It's showing about 30 degrees humidity, and that's a little on the high side because it's just been raining here in Tennessee. So that'll work continuously by pushing all the water out. But so we don't typically have any kind of issues as far as like moisture in the filament goes. And we run through this pretty quickly. The only reason why they're kind of all sitting quietly now is that we're getting ready to leave. We're heading out to Arizona for a couple weeks and then we'll be coming back. And so we don't print as much when we're not nearby, right? Now, one thing I really do like about our print farm here is that I love how we have these stacked up, right? Not only does it look pretty cool, but it just works really well to have all of these 3D printers in a spot that's not very big. It's pretty crucial for our, you know, shop here. So we have these we have 19 3D printers right here printing out stuff. The key to this was a couple things. I got these racks at Costco. They're pretty cool. I like them because they fit 3 wide like perfectly. Now, the one thing that I had struggles with is that these kind of shake quite a bit as they're doing their things. And so one would kind of shake the other and there'd be a little bit of waving on some of them. In order to fix that, I did 2 things. So I had some extra shelves with these, and so in order to firm it up, I took one of them and cut the edges around and flipped it upside down, and then I welded it to the next rack. So it essentially made each shelf twice as strong as it was. So I did it down here and I did it right there. And you can see I just did like little spot welds on here just to hold them together. And that firmed it up really, really well. So I did it on the ones that the printers are sitting on, but I didn't have to do it with the ones up there. And another thing that I did to keep these from moving is that I 3D printed some things that hold them on the wall. So I basically screwed it into the wall. It has this little block that sits in there, but basically these don't move at all. They're just stuck up against the wall so that they really don't shake at all. Now, another thing I liked about these racks is that it gave me a lot of spots to hook things up, basically, you know, run tubes and everything, and I'll show you that in a second. But I liked adding these lights that I got on Amazon, and I can make a link to these as well. But you could see here, they're like perfect for these racks. They go right up there, they shine right inside on the top, and gives us enough light to where we could see what's going on. If I have to change a nozzle or something, I can get in here. That's plenty of light in order to do it. So that has been really slick. Now, another thing I ran into is that I never found a good spool holder. This spool holder I found from Creality, I think it was like $40 or $50. And while it works, the problem with it is that it actually spins too easily. So if you could just take it and barely spin it, what would happen is that it would actually start unrolling, just like that, right? And then the filament would get on the side, and then it would come and get caught right there. So what I ended up doing is I modeled up our own. So this is what the side part looks like. This one goes on the end, and then these rods go between them. Now this is how I started building it. You see it has this bearing on the side here, and this actually was just like that Creality one. I made it spin too easily. So what I ended up doing is just putting a bolt and a washer in there like that, and this sets inside here like this. So now this doesn't spin quite as easily, but actually just having this smooth filament here and having the big 5K rolls on this just fine. So even if this didn't move, it would be totally fine because the filament itself spins. So this took a while for us to figure out. How are we gonna put all of these rolls of filament up here and have them spin so that we weren't wearing out like extruders and all of that stuff. So if you're interested in this, I could probably give you this as well. So drop in the comments below, hey Nick, I'd love to have that filament holder as well. And I see what I'll do. I'll give you the pieces for the end piece and the middle piece, and then the rod that goes in between. And you just put some standard bolts in there, you should be good to go. So now the way that we used to do it is that we would have these rolls go the opposite way and put the filament down the back, and then we'd have to reach back here and slide it in. And this was quite a pain, especially if you had to do the one down here. A lot of times you'd have to roll the whole thing away from the wall, and I didn't really want to move it while it was in the middle of printing. So what I ended up doing is buying a bunch of this PTFE, is that what it's called? Bowden tubes that go from here, and then they match up with the 3D printer right there. So I bought some couplers, and then the tubes go right over here and come right up to where the filament is. So now if you do something like this, I would encourage you to make big loops, okay? So this one goes here, it loops way back, and it hits this printer here. This one comes up, and it loops up, goes there, and then there's one that actually loops and goes way down to the bottom. But the bigger loop that you can make makes it so there's not as much friction in the tube, and so it can pull it. This has been like a life changer, right? Just being able to switch out these filaments by sliding it in here and just slide it all the way down. Then it catches. Of course, these are really nice as far as like when it runs out, you just slide it in, it grabs it and all of that. So makes it really, really cool. So if you want to build a print farm like this, I recommend these racks, but make sure you have something to bolt them to because they're gonna shake if you don't. And then make sure you firm them up a little bit like I did there. If you have a welder and a cutter and everything, it should be easy to do. If you have any questions on any of this 3D printer stuff, drop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to try to answer them, and you can see the stuff, the free stuff that we're giving you down in the link below. Just head over to the website and we'll have the files for you. If you have any questions on internet and you're like, hey, I wanna figure out how to do internet really well at your house, off-grid, mobile, whatever, right? That's kind of our business. That's what we love to do. And let me know, I'll be glad to help. Thanks much, hope you're having a great day. My name is Nick. Thanks for stopping by our channel, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.